Hi, I'm Julie Mama Jules Marshall. My sobriety date is June 2nd, 1999. So I'm going to do part two for step three, which is we made a decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. I am reading out of the Life Recovery Bible. It has the 12 step devotionals in it, and this is going to be the last group two sections of those devotionals. So I do reading and then discuss, but be breaking into the reading and discuss it. Um, maybe how more of it correlates with the what people are used to being as the original format for AA. However, um, the history is that AA was always based on the Bible. It was the scriptures in the Bible that gives us that, and they knew that. That's what their belief was, and they had a stronger belief of it back then than we surely do of it now. So, anyways, and that's probably why we're so screwed up because that's what it does. And life's to, excuse me, destroy. So I'm also checking how this sounds with having the mic not on me, but in front of me. I guess it would be okay. I'm gonna watch this video anyway, so here we go. This is part of the doing things life in real time. No chopping, splicing, dicing. This is as it is if we were sitting together face to face discussing, but I'm kind of doing it monologue because I don't have anybody to discuss. Uh, go back and ask questions, answer that type of thing. Eventually, yes, I'm hoping to. And maybe even potentially, well, not maybe, yes, doing live things, so on and so forth. I would like to go the gambit with this. I'm just getting my feet wet and doing it how I know what I know, and that's sobriety. I have um, I have a few people here in the neighborhood, um, locals, street people, as y'all typically put it, homeless population, transients, people suffering and struggling in ways that they even know they don't need to. Um, there's change coming. There's change going on right now here in Denver, and it's amazing. It's it's nice to see them wanting to have sobriety, wanting to get better, wanting to become seen. When you're on the streets, you're not seen in a good way. Um, they're struggling, they're suffering. I've been there. it's I haven't been there in the sense of the drugs and the alcohol, but I've been there. I've been living in an RV now for 4 years. I love it. It's great because I'm not in a vehicle, I'm not in a tent, and I'm not in a sleeping bag underneath a bush or in a tunnel. And yes, I have slept in the tunnels. When our burdens become heavy and we find that our way of life is leading us toward death, we may finally be willing to let someone else do the driving. We may have worked hard at getting our lives on the right track, but still feel as if we always ended up on the dead end streets. You don't have to be on the streets to feel like you're in the dead end of the streets. A lot of normies do it. A lot of people are suffering from it, and they're in four walls and a roof. They have cars, vehicles, homes, property, money, some barely maintaining, some are middle class and nobody'd know, right? But you know. Your spouse knows. Your immediate family knows. And more than likely, most of your coworkers know too. The only one who doesn't really know is you. It's me. We're deluded on it. We don't want to realize it. But we may have worked hard at getting our lives on the right track, but it still feels as we always end up on the dead end streets. Proverbs tells us there is a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. Proverbs 12 or 14:12. When we began our addictive behavior, we were probably seeking pleasure or looking for a way to overcome our pain. The way seemed right at first, but it wasn't long before it became clear that we were on the wrong track. By then, we were unable to turn around on our own. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and carry heavy burdens. I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest with your souls." Matthew 11:28 and 29. Taking on a yoke implies being united to another in order to work together. Those who are yoked together must go in the same direction. By doing so, their work is made considerably easier. When we finally decide to submit our lives and our wills over to God's direction, our burdens will become manageable. When we let Him do the driving, we will find rest for our souls. He knows the way and has the strength to turn us around and get us on the road toward recovery. Uh, God's my pilot, and I wouldn't even say I'm a co pilot at this point. I'm kind of just, I feel like I'm a passenger, but I'm not. I'm like, how do I put it even for myself? I give up the reins. I'm more like the horse in front of the cart and he's driving because I just do what he wants me to do. I go where he wants me to go. I let him lead me to where he wants to put me in living my testimony, living my life in his accord where he wants me to be, doing what he wants me to do. And usually it's just surviving. For me, it's surviving. And it has been out here. Leading by example has been showing people how to do the crappiest of crap, being stuck in the worst of the worst. Whether I'm in an RV or a tent, it doesn't frickin' matter. Doing it sober makes a huge difference. I can still get angry and I can still get hurt. I can still be sad and I can still fuck up and make mistakes. But quite frankly, I'm not falling back into a bottle. I'm not snorting a line. I'm not shooting up. I'm not doing whatever they're doing. I'm not doing it. I don't need to. I turned my will and my life over to God. And with that, I've gained 24 plus years of sobriety. I'm good with that. It has not been an easy journey. It has been quite hard and quite frankly, sometimes very scary. But life is like that. Um, I started out these last, 12 years now, I guess, transferring my housing from Colorado to California to be closer to my parents. And as it was, one didn't really remember me hardly. He was in Alzheimer's, and the other one didn't give a rat's ass. So, what was the point? Um, that was my will, but at the same time, it was his will. I put out the effort to be with them, to take care of them, and to be around. And it was negated. Sadly, it was negated. I wasn't welcomed. I wasn't wanted. I was the refused prodigal child of sorts because that's human nature. God, the Father, doesn't do that. He accepts us in our worst times, in our darkest times, in our deepest, darkest, blackest of sins. Even a serial killer asking him for forgiveness would get it. They may not want it until they feel that confinement and they realize that what they've done, some might not ever obtain that because they're just nutso. They're crazy or they're totally possessed. Either way, they're not in the mental capacity to be able to choose. Or maybe they just don't want to, or they have made that choice and they'll never do it. You can break people up into 4 different categories of your life: those that will love you and always love you, no matter how you screw it up, they'll always love you. Then you have those who like you and not necessarily love you, but they like you, but they could fall out of that. They would fall not necessarily to not liking you. Then you have those that don't like you, but may potentially learn to like you. And then you have those that will never like you. They all hate your guts, and it's never going to change. Period. 4 different categories of people. And that's that. Where are you going to spend your energy? Where are you going to put it to where you're going to move forward in your life? The people that you party with, they don't give a crap. Not one rat's patootie, aside from maybe the money that you can give them or the partying that you can share with them, whatever it is. But as much effort that you put into that, you don't have to put any effort into it. To asking the Father for His support and His love and His forgiveness, and He will gladly give it to you. It's simple. It is just, it's relieving. Now, that's not going to change the fact that you may go through physical withdrawals. However, there are a lot of people that have experienced a miraculous change upon the moment that they accepted His forgiveness. It can happen, and it can happen to you. How's your faith? The woman who bled for years, she bled every day for years. And when Jesus was walking through her town, she went up and in faith, she barely touched the hem of his garment. And the bleeding instantaneously stopped. And so did Jesus, for that matter. And he said, "Who touched me?" And she said, "I did, Master." And he said, "Be healed, woman, for your faith has made you clean." It happens. Some of us, it takes work. And it took me a lot of work because I did run away from him. Like a lot of us do, running away from home. I had him when I was young. He took great care of me. And I learned well from him. And that sustained me when I walked away, when I went out and explored the world. And I became that prodigal child. I want my inheritance. I want to know what the world is like. I don't need this. I don't need my parents. I don't need my father. I did. But I did experience the world. And I saw it as he wanted me to see it. I know that now. And I love where he's taken me. My mom, she wanted to be a starlet. That was her dream and why she went to California. She didn't get it. She wanted me to have some part of that, like most parents do. She shuffled me around to classes. However, mine and my autism, which they did not know what it was, but mine and my autism, I couldn't sustain. And she freaked out and pulled me out of classes. So I didn't get to really ever finish anything. It was really no fault of it was fault to her, but it wasn't no fault to her. She didn't know. She didn't understand. She was young and no one really understood back then. We were rowdy and rambunctious children that, depending on how quirky your things were, that was that. I loved the Hot Wheels. I was a tomboy girl. Um, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it now. If my mom knew what I was doing with my Barbies, she would have taken them away. Yeah, period. That's it. We as adults know and understand. Um, but that's it. That's my human parents, my human mother. I have learned to turn my life over to God, my Father, our Father. And He does a wonderful job. Really, really does. Really does. So, let's see. Where were we back on this reading track? Okay. Actually, find rest and wait. I'm just going to read the back paragraph again. I'll do this for myself even, but yeah. Taking on a yoke implies being united to another in order to work together. Those who are yoked together must go in the same direction. Bingo. Okay. So, he knows the way and he has the strength to turn us around and get us on the road toward recovery. And like I said, some people have experienced that immediate change and they never had to go through the physical withdrawals. In all actuality, that might have been what happened with me with the crystal because no, well, it wasn't instant because I did go through withdrawals because I could remember my thing was I could smell it a mile away. I have uh, the really hypersensitive oral factory thing going on here. I could smell a fire a mile away. Um, I can smell it when they're singing the blues in the bathroom. And believe you me, I come out really fast, sometimes with a bat, because it's just, and hopefully not with the Narcan. I don't want to do any more of that. And I have 3 times out here, not in the last year, thankfully, but the year before that. I had to use it 3 times out here. That was not fun. Seeing somebody basically dying, they're dead and they barely breathe simply because their body shut down. Fentanyl is what they use for anesthetics, for surgery, for knocking people out. It shuts their body down. Why would y'all want to smoke that? Because they pushed it on you. Like most of the things out here that we've done, they've been pushed on us. So, this too can be changed. And I hope that's why you're still watching this. Okay, discovering God. Before we turn our lives over to God, we need to have an accurate understanding of who He is. It is crucial that we entrust ourselves to the God who loves us and not to the God of this world, who seeks only to deceive and destroy us. The Apostle Paul described the excuse me a second, let me get something. Okay. That's such a droll. Mm. The Apostle Paul described the deceiver this way: Satan, who's the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. 2 Corinthians 4:4. Has Satan deceived us? How can we be sure that we have a true understanding of God? When Paul addressed the men of Athens, he said, I saw your many shrines, and one of your altars had this inscription on it: to an unknown God. This God, whom you worship without knowing, is the one I'm telling you about. His purpose was for the nations to seek after God and perhaps feel their way toward Him and find Him, though He is not far from any one of us. For in Him we live and move and exist. Acts 17:23, 27, 28. Even though God may be unknown to us, He is near and willing to reveal Himself. God has promised that if you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me. Jeremiah 29:13. Turning over our will involves accepting God as He is instead of insisting on creating Him in our own image. When we seek God with an open heart and mind, we will find Him. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I'm not actually tired. Um, this is part of my autism. Um, it will trigger yawning. Yawning is part of the seizure mode, but I am older in this, and I have gone through it for quite some time now, and I've learned how to deal with it. Um, and it is learning how to deal with it. You can't change it. It's learning how to embrace it, to be a part of it, understanding where your flows and limitations are. All of that will come in the future. That's neither here nor there. It is because I'm telling you, you too can gain sanity. That's why I'm doing this. The 12-step program, showing it as a faith-based the way it was supposed to be, scripturally based. Now, I'm not shoving it down anybody's throat. Part of it is you got to do your own footwork. This is out of the Life Recovery Bible. You can get it at the Bible store. You can get it at the bookstore. Maybe. It might have to be special ordered, but they can get it. But it may be more prevalent and out there now simply because getting sober has become a little bit more popular. Thank you very much, Lord. Or thank all of you. It's a little bit chilly. Oh, I was going to do that. So as I'm doing this, it's 11 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. Yes. And mind you, I'm in a 1973 25-foot aluminum RV. It's cold. It's a metal ice box. I do have a heater, and it's working quite nicely, which is why I can go without a hat or a scarf or my gloves. Granted, I do have my bathrobe over me and for my legs, but I'm comfortable. I'm good. It's God's provided. It's my home. It's a fresh platform for me to have and use and own, and I'm a retired truck driver. I'm used to living in a vehicle, something not quite as cold as this, that had a little bit more heat, but at the same time, too, it didn't. If it, never mind. You truckers know. Sometimes it gets really cold. Idle time. So, anyways, where is it? Let's see. Did I finish reading? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Even though God may be unknown to us, He is near and willing to reveal Himself. God has promised that. If you look for me wholeheartedly, you will find me. Yeah. Let's see. Is there one more? I want to make sure that I've covered all of these little things here. And they don't have the greatest number marking things on this. It's like bottom and then on the top, and some on the bottom and some on the top. But this is, this is life. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is the last section. Okay. So single-minded devotion. And we made a decision to turning our will and our life over to the care of God. We may have already chosen to follow God, letting Him define the overall direction of our life. Even so, many of us still try to keep parts of our heart hidden from God. We have devoted these parts of ourselves to gratifying our addiction, to doing things that are contrary to the will of God. This sets us up for living a double life, which can fill us with guilt, shame, and instability. Even those of us who have given our heart to God face new temptations and decisions every day. James was addressing believers when he wrote, "So humble yourselves before God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to God, and God will come close to you." James 4:7-8. If we choose to live a double life, we may begin to doubt whether God hears us at all. As James wrote, a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. James 1:6-8. When we resist the devil at every turn and come close to God, he will come close to us. When we open the hidden portions of our hearts and begin to make choices in favor of recovery, we will soon grow confident that God desires to help us. He doesn't want to harm anybody. That's not what his intent was. That's the devil's intent. That has been his all along. That is what this has been all about. There's good and bad. Good side, God side, bad side, dead side. And he wants to take as many of us out as possible. Quite frankly, being a loser is not being a loser. Being a quitter is being a winner. Because he's lost you. The devil's lost you. He doesn't like that. And he's going to make it a challenge. He battles it every day. However, don't get cocky with your sobriety. Because, like I had mentioned in one of my other previous videos, the fellow that came in, he looked good. He looked clean. He looked sober. He looked well maintained. He looked to do. He was doing. But that didn't change the fact of the matter that he was struggling. And he was arguing with himself with the paraphernalia, household goods that would otherwise be used for your addictive natures. He put him down, and he left. He came back, and he left again. That's struggling. That's playing both ends of the burning both ends of the candle. God said, "I will not acknowledge the lukewarm." Don't be on the fence. You can't be on the fence in this. You can't. Because he will not see you. He won't see you. It's either or. And it's a good life. Sorry, this might actually be a little bit of the tired young. No, anxiety. I'm still getting used to this. And even then, I am getting used to this. This is part of progression in life. As you watch these videos, and those who subscribe and watch these every day, because I am going to be doing one every single day, y'all will be journeying with me daily if you do, and watching the progression in my life and in my world getting better than I have in a long time, because 25 years is coming up for me, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, wow. God just gave me an epiphany moment. I've never spoken on my birthday. I've never shared my story in a meeting. Happy birthday to me. But it's not to me. It's just another day. I hope, I pray that somebody watching my videos will choose to sober up, will choose to stop doing what they're doing, killing themselves. Because they're just like my family. Those who are struggling out here that know me. This is why I put Mama Jules in there, because that's who I am out here. I'm Mama Jules, Julie Marshall. And I love you. I love a lot of you. I love all of you. Like God said, I love you. Let them come to me like the little children, for I am their Father. He is our Father. And He loves you like He loves me. And I'm showing you how He loves you. Unconditional love is beautiful from a human. It's seeing that homeless person and giving them a hug and not cringing and pulling away because of the smell. Because that smell is just their clothes. It's not who they are. They're human. And they need compassion and they need understanding. We all do. But a lot of times they don't want to sober up because they don't feel like there can be love. They don't feel like they are loved. But I'm telling you, and for those that might eventually be able to watch this because they've gotten better and they've gotten the means to have a phone or to be online, wherever you are loved. I really, really pray for your peace and security every single day. For a lot of people out there, I don't know you. I have no idea what your name is. but you're a human being who's suffering and struggling just like I have, and just like others are out there. And this is how we can do it. This is how you can do it. And I'm sharing this with anyone who wants to listen and watch. Getting to this point is not easy, but if you made it to this point, you really want it. And you too can have it. God will give it to you. You just have to ask Him. And He loves you, not like the humans had taught us. This is it. And if you've ever met me out there, you know it's real. And I pray that you are getting the help that you deserve and that you need, and that you will be able to stay clean and sober, because God can give you that strength. I know a lot of you out there have never met me, and they never will. That's okay. Eventually, there'll be connections with somebody, somewhere, at some time, and He'll put them in your path, because He's got this all over the world. No matter where you at, He's got you and me in His sights right now, no matter what, because He's omnipotent. In some way, somehow, this too shall pass. Have faith and keep coming back. I hope. I'm glad I can share this. I'm glad my family here has helped me get the strength, and that God gave me the strength to continue to do this. I'm not used to it. I didn't do the whole video thing during the pandemic, and I don't like to say the word during the pandemic. And it is what it is. We all have different levels. We've all done different things, and we're all going different places. But at the same time, too, we're all still here in this together. So keep coming back, I hope. Some way, somewhere, someplace. Find yourself a meeting. Get yourself a sponsor. And start working the steps. And if this is all you've got, I'm okay with that too. I hope I can help. I hope I can give you experience strength that I've had given to me. So thank you very much, and you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.